especially when thinking of things I still want to make this year. I'm like, oh, do I have the yarn for that? Do I? I do. Hi everyone, my name is Carmen from New Leaf Designs, and this is my April recap video. I know it's already a few days into May, but I've only just come around to film the video for April. So the recap video is kind of where I go through all of the things that I made and I count how many grams of yarn that I have used, because 2025 is my year of stash and I want to use up as much stash as I can. So yeah, a little bit more on that in a second. First off, I have been having a cold for 2 weeks of this month, so basically half of this month, and for most of it I didn't even feel like knitting. And I'm still not feeling 100% well, and I'm still a little bit sniffly, so I apologize in advance. I'll try to edit all of it out, but sometimes it isn't easy to edit out all of the sniffles, so if I do leave some in, I apologize. Yeah, so this month I haven't been knitting that much, but I have been having loads of fun with my I-cord knitting machine, and if you haven't seen the video for that yet, I'll post it somewhere. In that video you will have seen me making this little bunny, which was in front of my window as a kind of Easter decoration, and I think it's really cute actually. And even though, you know, these I-cord wire things definitely look handmade, and I say that as if it's a bad thing. I don't mean to make that into a bad thing, but it definitely looks, you know, like a beginner craft, or someone might think, oh, did your kids make that? You know, but I think for like seasonal decorations it can be really, really cute. So, and someone commented on my video like, oh, you should make some Halloween decorations. I'm definitely going to make that, because that would be so cute to have some bats in the window and some pumpkins, and yeah, I think that would be really cute. I'm looking at the screen right now and I'm noticing, of course, I haven't mentioned my shawl yet. So I'm just wearing my Breeze Blocks shawl, which is a crochet shawl made out, you know, made up out of these little blocks. And I usually don't wear shawls in the house, but I'm wearing a stripy tee, which does not do well on camera because it can kind of make the video go glitchy and stuff. So I thought, why not rep one of my shawls? This was my very first paid pattern, so I'm very proud of it. And when you buy it, you get the Breeze Blocks version and the Freeze Blocks as well, which is kind of the version where you hold it together with a strand of mohair, and it's a little bit thinner so it goes wider, because this one is quite, I'll show you actually, this one is quite wide. It's almost square. It's not exactly square, but, and you can wear it as a triangle like that, or you can wear it as a kind of cape thing. And I have more ways of wearing this. I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but there is a whole photo shoot on my blog and Ravelry as well, where I'm showing you how to wear it. So yeah, that's my Breeze Blocks. It's really fun to make. It uses one cake of Escapius Whirl, which is this ombre gradient cake. It's great. It's not hard. You only have to master a few stitches in crochet, and then you can totally pull this off. Yeah, back to the I-cord knitting. In that video, you saw the bunny and the vase. Although, was it this one or was it this one? I think I made this one first, and I quite like it. So I'm using it as a propagation station. That needs to be in the water actually. Maybe I'll tug the leaf in this way so that it actually stays in. Perfect. Okay. So I made this wire vase. So this is I-cord and there's a wire in there. And yeah, it's such a cute idea. And so this was an idea, a pattern by Craft Kitchen. But then I went to download it and the instructions weren't actually that helpful. It just said like, make a vase shape. So so then I made a second vase and I explained a little bit of how I do it, and I still need to edit and upload that video. But basically you can take any kind of bottle, glass, a little glass vase and just model it around it. And even though this bottle, I think it was a tomato sauce bottle, even though this bottle is very simple, you can then make the vase however you want it. And it's really cute. I think it's really cute, and it could be a really cool Mother's Day idea. Yeah, just it was really simple to make. And then I also knit some coasters from this I-cord yarn because I wanted to use it up very quickly, because with this I-cord maker, Kadu also put 10 or 11 balls of yarn, or even more, I don't know. I know, anyhow, it was like a lot of yarn, and I thought, oh no. It's lovely yarn, but you know, I'm doing my year stash. I'm not supposed to have any new yarn. So I invited some friends around and we were making these I-cord decorations, and with some of them I was also knitting these coasters. So each of the yarn balls was 25 grams and I knit all of that up with the I-cord maker, and it's electric, so you just push a button and away it goes, and then you can do something else like get snacks for everyone. And this was 25 grams and I knit a coaster with it, and I just cast on using the knitted cast on, because that means you can basically use up all of your yarn very like economically. Knitted cast on 7 stitches and then knit a couple rows, and I did that with the blue one as well. And I do have another video of where I'm actually showing you this, so if you're curious about that, just wait another week or so until I have the energy to edit that. Yeah, my energy levels are running really low, and I noticed that I'm sounding very nasally. I don't want to apologize, but also kind of do. So yeah, I had loads of fun making things from I-cord, and yeah, really fun. I have another thing that I made, but it needs to remain a secret for some of my family members. And I don't actually think they will be watching, but if you're Dirk or Yul, stop watching because this is secret. I also use the I-cord and wire to create my nephew's name to put up on his new bedroom when he turns 1 year old. So, and this was so easy to do. So his name is Luke. It's kind of the Dutch version of Luke. And it was really easy to do. You just, you take a huge sheet of paper or some cardboard that you were throwing away, and you write out the name, and then you follow your handwriting with the wire. And then, first you put the I-cord on, and then you bend it into shape. And how cute is this? Oh. And for the O, I normally wouldn't write it in this way, but because normally you would write it like you would start the O, then go back, and then go in the other direction, right? But for the O, I just went like this. So it's a little bit different than handwriting. And then they will be able to put it on some furniture like this, or they can put 2 nails on the wall and hang them from the loops. So yeah, I thought this was super cute, and Yeah. And they do also sell the wire and like the pliers and stuff. So I will share a link below because they did give me an affiliate link. So this is sponsored in a way. So you can check it out, and with my code you have 15% off. So that's Carmen, just my name in all caps, CARMEN, and that will give you a discount. So yeah, if you feel like getting crafty with some I-cord and wire, here you go. This is not everything I made out of I-cord. I think I did. Right, so I quickly want to talk again about the yarn I received from them, because yeah, I used some of it in these creations, and then my friends also used it, and then the rest I just gave to my friends because it's not supposed to go into my stash. So all of these projects, I'm also not counting them for anything I've used this month because it wasn't supposed to be in my stash anyway. So up until now, it's still 0 grams used for this month. And then I have some progress to show you on my market bag. So let me show you the first version that I made so you can kind of visualize it. So I made a market bag last year from brioche because I was thinking, okay, what's a nice project to make with brioche? Because brioche fabric is very stretchy, it is very drapey, which means it doesn't hold its shape particularly well, which means it's not great for sweaters, cardigans. Yeah, they would just kind of droop and be kind of baggy, which can be a good thing, but you know, it also makes it difficult to design with it because it can stretch more after, you know, you'll have swatched, and then when you actually go and make the thing, because it's bigger, it will also have more weight and it will droop and stretch. So it's difficult to design with in a way. But because of the drape, it's also great for shawls. But for this workshop that I was doing for my Patreon members, I did not want to do a shawl because it's quite a big project, takes a bit of commitment, so I wanted something sweet and simple. So I thought, what else can we make that is okay if it stretches? And I thought, yeah, let's make a market bag, because whether you go out and buy a yarn or apples and oranges, it doesn't really matter that it is stretchy, and it doesn't matter that it has holes in it. And you can also use this as a beach bag to put your swimsuit, your towel in, or to collect beach shells. And actually, I used it to go to the beach, and it's actually really handy because all of the sand just shakes out of it. That is really handy. And I did a 2-color bag. The inside is white and the outside is yellow. So I'm also calling this my banana bag. Yellow on the outside, white on the inside. So yeah, and I'm making a second one. I'm almost done, but it doesn't look like a bag yet. So I wanted to show you the actual bag first. Am I in the middle of a row? How distracted was I? Let me just finish this row. Okay, I finished the row. I must have been in the car when I was knitting this. Otherwise, I wouldn't leave it with just 7 stitches to go. So I'm knitting the second strap. So first you knit a big rectangle of brioche, and you can see it's kind of this brick red on the one side and pink on the other. I've decided that I want the brick red to be the outside, and then the pink kind of peeks through. And I like the other side as well, but yeah, I like both of them. So on each side, you then finish with a strap, which you fold over, so all the way along the long edge, and then you sew the ends together and you have a nice strap. You don't have to sew it closed like that, but I do like kind of fat handle. Like, I like that it's a nice round handle. Feels very nice. So I started when I was here, and I was knitting it up from here. So I had done this bit until then, and in this month I have done all of this, knit this strap, and then picked up stitches here, and I'm knitting this strap. So I'm almost done. I measured it, or I weighed it at the start of the month, or when I started working on this again, and it was 55 grams including the needles. So now let's weigh it. And I always have to think about how to weigh things because my scale isn't that big. So, okay, what if I kind of wrap it like this, and then it will fit onto my scale. All right, that is 140 grams. So 140 minus 55 is 85 grams this month. That's pretty good. I have 4 more knitting projects that I was working on this month, and 2 of those are socks. Even though from one of them you wouldn't necessarily say it was a sock, more like a fishing net maybe, or okay, let me explain. I was trying out knitting socks on my knitting machine, and this is the first one. So usually socks are knit on a circular knitting machine, which you might have seen videos of here and there. But I've got a flatbed knitting machine, which kind of looks like a keyboard, and you ride the knit carriage over from side to side. So it can only work flat pieces. Well, that's not entirely true. There are also some circular knitting machines that look like that. Doesn't matter, I don't have one of those. And so I tried out this sock pattern, and yeah, with this one I have way too many stitches width-wise. I think I doubled the stitch count somehow. So, but I quickly figured that out and made the second one. And for this one, I do have some pictures of how this one looked in progress, so I will put those here because you cannot tell that it's a sock when it's still a straight piece or a flat piece. So for this sock, let me see, I don't know if I started on the heel side or on the front. I think on the heel side. So how I knit this sock is I did this part first from here to here. I did that, I knit a double hem. So it's not ribbing, it's just stockinette, and you fold this fabric so that it's basically just very sturdy. And then, so I'm working this flat, right? So I'm knitting this on the machine, and then I'm doing a short row heel. Short rows on the knitting machine are so clever, so fast, and you knit the heel the same way you knit the toe, which, yeah, like in hand knitting, you could also knit the toe as if you're doing the heel, like cast on 30 stitches or whatever is half of your regular stitch count, and then do short rows and end up with a toe. And that's how you do this on the machine as well. If you have never knit socks, this will not make sense. But basically, okay, so I did the heel, and when you're working on this like flat piece of fabric, it just looks like a flat piece with like a very baggy bit. So yeah, and then you continue knitting, you knit the toe, and then you just knit straight on the machine, knit straight, and then fold that part over again. and then you seam up the sides. So that's the downside with this pattern. There are massive seams on the inside, so I want to figure out a way of doing that. I found another pattern for the knitting machine where you just have a seam on one side and not on the other, so that's already a bit better, but I would like to just have no seams. I don't think that's possible with my machine, but I might just be able to make like house slippers that, you know, I turn inside out. Maybe I can seam it in a different way. We will see. But in any case, I was very happy with the progress from this sock. I haven't even bothered to sew in the ends because why would you? So that's quite some good progress. And someone commented on this sock because I posted a picture of it in my Facebook group, and they said, "Oh, that looks massive," but it's not. It's just, let me show you. I'll actually fit it on my foot. So, ta-da! It's not a massive sock. I have size 37 feet, European size, and knit socks, like hand knit or like, you know, not store-bought socks, hand knit or machine knit wool socks, they are bigger than cotton socks you might find in the in a regular store, because those store-bought socks, they stretch so much and wool does not stretch as much. So I think that's the reason why it looks bigger, because I get the comment quite a lot from like non-knitters. Oh, who are you knitting socks for? And then myself, because they think they look huge, but yeah. Anyway, let's weigh these. I'm just gonna weigh them together, and they, oh, wow, 62 grams. And that was just from 1 or 2 days. That's pretty good. So this sock I made with this yarn, which is a wool nylon mixture, and I got it at Woolly Knit, but woolly with only one L, Woolly Knit. It's a British website. And the pink one I used this yarn for. It's an indie dyer from Spain or Portugal, and I kind of want to say it was like Georgia or Georgina fibers, but I don't think that's correct. But it was like maybe like 8 years ago that I bought this, so don't know if they're still in business. But it's a little bit thinner than the sock yarn I usually use, which makes it perfect for the machine, because my machine uses very tight gauge, which is great. So those were the 2 socks. And then I have 2 more knits. One is a cowl from my book, which is coming. I mean, it's already out for the Dutchies. The Dutch version is already out. It's called Breien met kleur, which means knitting with color. And the English version will be coming next spring, so spring 2026. And this is the Leiden cowl. I've named all of the patterns for cities where I used to live in the Netherlands. So the Leiden cowl, it'll go like this. I'm almost done. And I weighed it when I picked it up. It was 117 grams, including the needles. So let's weigh it now. Oh no. It's like, okay. It's 119 now, so I only used up 2 grams. How is that possible? Maybe I didn't weigh it correctly when I started. I definitely, let me show you. I didn't knit a ton. No, that's right. I only knit about this much. Okay, 2 grams. Okay, it's something. I took this with me on my Berlin trip. We spent the Easter weekend in Berlin with my in-laws, and it was great. One of Tim's sisters lives in Berlin, and yeah, it was really, really fun. I don't care much for Berlin, the city, but it was nice to see Tim's sister in her city, in her natural habitat. So that was really, really fun. And I got to hang out with all of them, so that was cool. And then for my last knitting project, but not the last project I'm going to show you. For my last knitting project, I have the Advent cowl, which I started in December. And I'm using lots of tiny yarn scraps. And yeah, having lots of fun with this. The pattern for this is up on my Patreon page as well. And when I picked it up, it was 35 grams, including the needles. And now it is 78. And I do, little disclaimer, that is not all from this month. I did some in the previous month as well, but then I forgot to count it. So yeah, I'm allowed to do that, right? I knitted. So the pattern and tutorial videos are available on my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/newleafdesigns. And you can become a Patreon supporter starting from €5, €6 a month. And you have access to a whole library of knitting tutorials, patterns, pattern walkthrough videos, like I'm actually knitting a project start to finish with you, and some workshops that I did last year. So yeah, loads of fun videos on there. And I'm starting a new series on cast on techniques, and yeah. So loads of fun videos to find on Patreon if you want even more knitting content. So that was, oh wait, I wrote down 78 grams, but I need to subtract 35 from that. So 70 is 35 times 2 plus 8 is 43. And then my last project, which is kind of a part knit, part sewing project. And it's knitting because I am using yarn that I cord knit. I've been winding it around a DVD from The War of the Rohirrim, which is a new Lord of the Rings video that came out this year, or actually in December, but I recommend it. It's an anime, so it's not a live action, but it's still pretty good. And I've been sewing this, well, I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but I was hoping for a bath mat because that was my goal project for last year and it didn't work out. So I hope that this will be the one. So I am laying the I-cord in a circle, and then I am sewing it from the reverse side. So, ooh, I don't want to pull on this too much because it is not very stable at the minute. So I can pull it apart. So I'm trying not to do that. But I've been sewing it from the back, and you see I've been doing some reinforcements. So I am pinning it. See the pins there, and then I am just sewing it from the reverse side, and I am using Scapius Whirl Fine Art because it was like all painting inspired. I think, you know, the colorway names, oh no, sorry, I'm pulling out some of the bath mat. So the colorway names are like Impressionism or Surrealism or Cubism, something like that. And it's really pretty. It goes from dark purple all the way to this very light lilac. And see, I've got all of these needles loose now, so I need to be careful. Yeah, maybe I need to do this with wash pins instead. So I'm sewing this all together, and then at the end I will be cutting out a piece of fabric or a piece of felt and gluing it on that, because I realized that this is not going to be sturdy enough on its own. So yeah, and I have been working on it yesterday, but I made sure to weigh it at the end of the month, and it is 151 grams, so pretty good. This whole cake is 200 grams or maybe 220 grams, but there is some extra yarn that goes into it for all the sewing. So I've also been using up little odds and ends that I have, saved, and just, tiny scraps, leftovers. So that feels great to be able to use up so much, because there's quite a bit that goes into here. And with tiny scraps, I can never bear it to throw it away, because why would I throw it away? It's good yarn. But also it's difficult to find something to make with it. So I can't really bear to throw it away. So I'm really happy to use those scraps for this project. And then a very, very last project before I count everything up. This one is not yarn related at all, but I am proud of it, so I did want to show you. I've been really enjoying some paint by numbers. And so yeah, I made this. I think it's pretty cool. This is the Wee White House in Glencoe in Scotland. And there's this website, Painting by Numbers. Yeah, paintingbynumbers.co.uk, where you can upload pictures and then have a custom paint by numbers kit. This is not sponsored. I'm just really excited about this. So I just plucked a picture from Pinterest or Google, put it in there, and voila, I have my own custom paint by numbers kit. I ordered another one with a cool photo from my book. So yeah, from the book photo shoot, I ordered a paint by numbers from that, and yeah, I just really love it. I've also ordered a paint by numbers for my parents, which is just, a holiday snapshot of them in Denmark, and it was really cute. And yeah, so I'm really loving that. So not sponsored, but if Painting by Numbers sees this, then maybe. No, so let's tally up my used yarn for this month. So that's 85 grams for the market bag, 2 grams for my cowl, 151 for my bath mat thing, 43 for my advent cowl, and 62 for the machine knit socks. And we have a total of 343 grams for this month. Pretty good. And with the previous month, the first month I used 381. February I used 683, and then in March I used 330. So in total for the year so far, I have used 1,737 grams. That is pretty good. Pretty good, yeah. So yes, my stash challenge is going pretty well. Even though I kind of failed it this month, and even though I have been so tempted to buy more yarn, especially when thinking of things I still want to make this year. I'm like, oh, do I have the yarn for that? Do I? I do. So, gotta keep on keeping on. I will be back with a recap video at the end of this month, and in between now and then I will also be back with lots of project vlogs and more I-cord makes. So hopefully see you then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.